Purko, Summer House Realty. Thanks for tuning in. I'm here with a special guest, Josh Gibbs.
Yep, that's me.
Ridge and Valley Services LLC.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here. We really appreciate it. So tell us a little bit about yourself and your company. And
Ridge and Valley, we're a new company. We have been in business. We started in January, and I've been in roofing for 2 years, in sales, and then also in insurance claims for 3 years. And so that's kind of the experience that I had, and I kind of got to a crossroads with, everybody knows a bad roofer, and it got to the point where I was ready to start my own branch of that. So
there you go.
and so we're trying to do things the right way, and make sure everybody's involved and everybody knows what's going on.
Perfect. Yeah, everybody wants quality. That's the biggest thing.
Quality, and they don't want to pay as little as possible.
They want fair pricing.
Right.
Not little, fair.
Right, exactly.
Affordable. There you go.
Yeah.
All right. So obviously, we are realtors. He handles all the roofing. So we go to a house. Major component of the home is a roof. It's very costly. So during the home inspection, the inspector will look at the roof and he will let us know, hey, it's a good idea to get a roofing company involved. Take a look at this roof, get somebody professionally licensed, bonded, insured like yourself to do an evaluation and provide a letter, and then we can move accordingly. So if you come to a house and it does need a roof, give us the range of pricing on, say, somebody's like, you look at it, this roof is, what types of shingles are there?
Usually, for the most part, roofing is very much advanced a long way from where it started, and you've got 3-tab shingles, which are your basic shingles that are builder's grade type shingles. They're very easily damaged. They're very prone to wind, hail, and elements. They're just a bad idea in general. And the reason why they put them on is they're cheap. After that, you have architectural shingles, and you have they're a double laminate shingle, which means they're basically 2 shingles on top of each other. And most laminate shingles have 130-mile-an-hour wind rating.
Oh,
and
wow.
so that means you're getting a quality roof that's not going to fail as fast. And it's a 30-year shingle, as opposed to a 3-tab, which they say is a 20-year shingle, which usually lasts for 10. So what I tell people all the time is that your roof, obviously is the first line of defense, and as corny as that sounds, it's very much true. So if you're wanting to preserve your house long term, that's the first place to start, because as soon as water gets in, that's where all the major problems start happening. So if we can, find either, certify that you don't need a roof, like we do that a lot, that we look at roofs, and because homeowners get inspectors that say that all the time, and if truly your roof is damaged to the point where it is leaking, then obviously it's time to get a roof. A lot of times with roofs, if it's not leaking, it's probably not going to leak. If that makes sense. I mean, I know that sometimes that's not what roofers want to tell people, but that's probably the reality. Unless I go up there and cause damage to your roof, or a storm comes through and causes damage, you're probably going to be fine until you get ready to replace your roof on your time. I tell people that because that's a big misconception. That people, either the homeowner wants you to certify the roof so they don't have to pay for it, or the next homeowner wants you to uncertify the roof so the other homeowner has to pay for it. So it's a balancing act.
So what are they looking for? Obviously, a roof is a roof. It
Sure.
all looks the same from the street.
Sure.
Obviously, a specialist like yourself can tell. So what are some of the signs? Obviously, like you said, water leaking, you see that in the sheetrock in the ceiling. But when you look at a roof, how can you tell how much longevity is in that roof? What are you looking for?
Right.
Some of those things.
So the first thing I look for is from the road. I look at the roof, and when you look at the roof shingles and the blocks, the rectangle blocks, if you see it shining on the edges, that's the first indicator that the roof is old. Because what's happening is the granule that's on each of the shingles is starting to decay and basically rinse off the roof, and it leaves nothing but fiberglass behind. So that fiberglass is what's shining on the shingles, and that's the first indicator. With that being said, and after that, kind of get a gauge of it when you get on the roof is when you really start to see how old it is. Number one, the decking. If it has solid wooden decking, that's the first indication. If you can walk up it and you don't hear any cracking, you got a healthy roof basically, because a big part of that is, and with the amount of ventilation the attic has. But as far as the shingles go, I'm looking for granule loss on the shingles. If the shingles are still sealed with the tar, that they're sealed to each other, A lot of times you'll see what an insurance adjuster and what a home inspector is looking for on a shingle is on every rectangle shingle, if there is a line on top of the shingle, that's a wind crease. And so what's happening is that shingle is being blown up and it falls down and seals back, and it leaves a wind crease. So just because you don't have any missing shingles doesn't necessarily mean that you don't have wind damage on your roof. So that, I mean, obviously if you see missing shingle, you know you have wind damage. But
Yeah.
a lot of times we get on roofs a lot that have 30 wind damage shingles, and the homeowner, I'm like, look, you have a good case for a homeowner's claim, and they say, well, my roof's really old. Yeah, I'm like, well, that doesn't really matter. If you're paying your premium on your homeowner's insurance, that's roof's covered. And I think in the state of Georgia, I know if you pay more than 2 payments of your premium, the insurance has to cover the roof, regardless of how old it is.
Because if you just try to piece those sections in, it's going to stick out like a sore thumb. The color variation
Exactly.
will be way off.
You're exactly right. And a lot of times, insurance companies love to say, well, just repair it. And that's a lot easier said than done, because if I get on a roof and it is so old that I can't physically lift the shingles to replace them, the first thing that I do is tell them it's unrepairable. And they like to push back on that a lot. But the reality is that if I'm going to cause more damage to this roof, then they are going to have to pay to replace the entire roof, regardless of the age. I mean, that comes down to codes and a lot of the minutia that kind of gets mixed in with all that stuff. But there absolutely are ways that if you have a damaged roof, that you should have your homeowner's insurance address it.
You handle all that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Most of my jobs is claims application.
Well, good. That takes a lot off the homeowner.
Yeah.
And obviously, we try to catch this before we close. So
Sure.
that's one
Sure.
huge costly expense and headache off of the future homeowner. So as far as the average cost, what's the average roof cost? Say if you have to strip it and redo it, and then obviously you bring a container, haul off the waste.
So usually the way roofing is measured is 100 square foot. So a 20 square roof means it's a 2,000 square foot roof, basically is what that means. So 20 square. Typically, I tell people that you're going to pay between $275 and $300 a square to remove and replace the shingle. Now, kind of what we do differently is that we're one of the only companies in the area that offers a lifetime leak warranty, like through the company, not the manufacturer. Basically, as long as you live in the house, if you ever have a leak or you have a problem, we'll come back and fix it at no cost.
That's great.
And the reason I offer that is because we install above average non-build grade products, synthetic felt, architectural shingles. I will give away an architectural shingle roof before I'll install a 3-tab roof.
Yeah,
And
because the wind resistance. And
Exactly.
All that. Yeah, I mean it's
I can't get behind
a product.
I can't get behind a 3-tab roof.
I understand for sure. Well, you heard it from him. Even if he doesn't know what he's talking about, he convinced me, and you sound like you're an expert. So we appreciate you being here for sure.
Thank you. I enjoyed it. I mean, anytime I get to nerd out about insurance claims, I'm excited. So.
Right. So, like we said, when we go to a house, we always check for the roof. It's a major, costly, one of the top 3 components of the house, other than a few other things that we'll talk about in future episodes. But again, Josh, we appreciate you being here.
I appreciate it.
Hopefully we can work together more frequently in the future, and we look forward to seeing you. Thanks for answering all these questions.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks. Good morning. Thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate you watching. Again, we are the Purko team. We have Lauren Pinder here.
Hello.
And we have Macy Risner.
Good morning.
And I am Pete Purko. So remember, anything you need, feel free to call us. We'd love to talk to you, consult with you, have a cup of coffee with you, have lunch with you. Even if you want us there, we'll have dinner with you. It doesn't matter. Our hours are very flexible and we're always available. You are number one. So Lauren, give us some information.
Just some information on the community. We do have Guitar Pool coming up. Their tickets are sold out, but there is Guitar Pool stops around the CSRA. You could pull up all the stops on Kick79's website. So that's something fun that's coming up.
It's a big event.
Very big event.
It goes to a good cause too. So what you got?
We have Arts in the Heart coming up, actually starting today, Friday, going through this weekend. So go out and support your local artists, have some food, listen to some music, and just support the community. We also have Cinema for a Cause happening this month. All the Georgia Theater Company theaters are doing it. Masters, Evans, Riverwatch. All the proceeds from that day, the 29th, will go to 3 different charities. So that's a really good thing to go and support.
Perfect.
Awesome.
That is great.
And Macy will be at Arts in the Heart. Go see her.
That's right.
I'll be running the booth down there for the Augusta Arts Council, so come by and see me.
So remember to call, email, text us anytime. We're always available, and I hope you have a great weekend. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.